Sergeant Brian Martino, Pueblo County Sheriff's Office. I'm the supervisor of our inmate classifications division. I'm based mainly out of the jail. So a lot of the stuff I see is dedicated to what goes on in there. We do work with the folks from the police department. We work with Colorado Parole. We've helped out with Operation Safe Streets as well. So we do work with a lot of different law enforcement entities. So basically in August of 2015, Operation Safe Streets happened. Over that weekend, there were 47 arrests in a 2-day period. Big time saturation. I remember being out there that night on the east side. The radio was completely crackling all the time. We got to walk over here, have a suspicious vehicle, we're out with them. It made a great impact, but what do you guys see is a very powerful thing? You guys are all part of the media, correct? What about social media? Do you think that might be a downfall for law enforcement anyway? Here's what happened. The folks that have warrants, the folks who were part of this criminal type enterprise out here, they were tweeting, hey, the police department's out. Sheriff's office is out. They're at this location, they're at that location. Stay home tonight, don't go out on the streets. That way folks aren't getting picked up. So tagging artwork compared to gang artwork, there's a difference. Obviously you guys can take a look at this and see there's some talent in there. This is on one of the buildings right next to, I believe, Charlie's Pit Barbecue on the west side. So it can be found around Pueblo County everywhere. City, the county, Bessemer, the east side, so basically all areas. A lot of their artistic talent is showcased on sides of businesses and homes with the property owner's permission. I know there's some more artwork as well. Right here, as we can see. This is a homeowner's fence on the west side. This is also on the west side as well, the Ghostbusters artwork. Ian's Pizza in the Bessemer area, there's one of the buildings as well there. It has a lot of this similar type artwork. So gang artwork, like the captain spoke about earlier, is there much artistic talent that you guys see? No. So gang artwork differs very, very, very much. Usually I don't see any kind of colors in them. Just the gang colors is what you guys should usually see, not a lot of artistic talent, nothing really bright. You'll see certain letters, you'll see certain initials, and sometimes you'll see monitors or nicknames. Usually this artwork is done without the permission of the property owner or business owner. One thing I have to give credit to, the city, you guys, graffiti crew, they've been doing an amazing job. A couple years ago when I got out to pick up some pictures for presentations, I could go within a block and find whatever I needed. I went all over the east side, I went all over the west side. This is all I found. 4 slides and one of them's already cleaned up. So definitely I'm seeing a big change with that. That's been awesome. See a lot of different paint colors, but you're not seeing the gang tagging come through. Some of this stuff, you'll see a lot of folks see the 3 dots, you think my crazy life. They use different counting systems. You can see the 1 dot on the left-hand side and the 3 dots, which signifies the number 13, which is used by the Serenos here in the United States. ESD, which is kind of hard to make out, stands for East Side Dudes. LC, Los Carnales, which is crossed out, this is showing a sign of disrespect. Then you have the Roman numeral 10 and 3 next to it, the number 13 again. Then you see ABK. The A is upside down, showing disrespect. The Latin aces on the east side, they refer to them as ass boys. So that's basically being an ace boy killer is what that breaks down to. Some of the gang influence in Pueblo, there's some pretty serious stuff that goes on around town. The majority of the stuff are ranked on the amount of folks that we do have. Serenos are going to be our strongest. We have Norteños, Latin Aces, GKI, so on and so forth. A lot of you folks have heard of MS-13. It's a pretty big gang. They're basically split on the west coast and also on the east side coast. We have influence from Denver with Northside Mafia, Los Primeros Padres is a prison gang, Nuevo Mexico Syndicate, Nazi lowriders. Do you guys think the prison gangs affect us by any means? Yes, they're huge. Usually when folks go to prison, they do not go to prison for the rest of their life. They're usually returned to the community in a form of parole or a halfway house. So yes, they're back out in the community again. So what you guys might see in your community as you're driving around town. find them at neighborhood parties. The side that we see in your facility that folks usually do not see on the streets. Usually on the streets, you guys will see a lot of different type of clothing they're wearing, whether it's Eastside Duke jersey or different kind of clothing. But in jail, what these guys will do, they'll take off their shirts sometimes, walk around saying, hey, this is who I am, this is my flag, this is what I'm all about. Eastside Dukes are a gang basically on Pueblo's west side. The best way to kind of break this down is minor league baseball. Some people might know about sports and stuff and all. But you have a parent team and then you have minor league teams. So what these big teams want to do, they want to recruit from the best cream of the crop that they can, bring them up to their ranks. So basically, the big main group is going to be the number 13 or the Serenios. The Dukes are just a smaller minor league team that are part of that group that they can have a recruit from. Sometimes when they're on the streets, they might have beefs or problems with each other, but when they come to jail, everybody falls under that 13 flag for protection, for extortion of other inmates that we do have in our facility. Some artwork you see is good, some of it's not so great. This one right here in the middle, this gentleman, that's Black Gangster Disciple, which is basically a gang out of the Midwest, Chicago area. They're actually very organized, they're very smart, like Captain Taylor talked about earlier. What they do is they send a lot of their guys to the United States military. The good thing about that for them, they develop a great soldier that's disciplined, they follow orders, and some of the things in the military. Because standard protocol, if you guys have a gunshot victim at the hospital, you guys respond, correct? So if you have somebody that's in the Navy that's a corpsman or somebody that's a field medic, they can deal with that gunshot wound at home, they can take care of them, get them through them. The police are not going to be contacted, no further follow-up's going to be done. White supremacists. We do have a population of white supremacists that come through. 211 crew is the big one in the Colorado Department of Corrections that we do encounter. A lot of their views are radical. The number 14 and number 88. 14 words is the 14-word bond by David Lane. The 88 is the 88 precepts, or HH. You'll see a lot of numbers translate into letters. We have a Crip population, a lot of Hispanic Crips, Asian Crips have come through our doors, Kelly Park Crips, Bloods, different sets of Bloods as well, that's 13. So hotspots for gangs. There's several different hotspots for gangs in the community. Bessemer Park, that's a hotspot. Mr. Capone was here in concert here at the State Fair. It's been a few years back. He's associated with the Serenios. Do you guys think we're going to have a huge turnout at this concert? Yeah, it was a very, very, very large turnout with a lot of problems. Colorado State Fair usually has a lot of issues in their Midway area. Different schools and parties. Locations of more recent shootings around Pueblo. This is information courtesy of the Pueblo Police Department. So I was told by a wise man who's our undersheriff, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. Sometimes there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. On the other hand, there's a vicious cycle that occurs. So you can see this young gentleman up here, and some of those other folks. The first step's going to basically be coming through our door at the sheriff's office at the jail. He's going to be pre-sentenced. There's going to be something that happens, whether he's found not guilty, he bonds out, or if there is a disposition in this case where he takes a plea agreement and can be possibly sentenced to the Colorado Department of Corrections for a certain amount of time. So there's an evolution, a change. And some of this is for survival. That's why a lot of gangs are formed, especially in the prison system. You see a lot of folks that are not gang associated. They join up with somebody, that way they have protection so they're not being extorted, their food's not being taken, so their commissaries remaining with them instead of somebody else taking all their stuff. So the cycle. They're going to start off in our jail, prison system, they're out on parole. They violate on parole, they might possibly pick up a new criminal case, and they kind of start the whole process over, or if it's just a technical violation, where they can return to the Department of Corrections for another 6 months. So this can go on for a amount of years. It just depends on how long their parole is. Sometimes folks out on parole for a period of 5 years. That's a good amount of time. There might be that possibility where they're on parole having a hard time finding a job, trying to support their family, where they might reoffend and commit a new crime, thus extending this cycle that they're going through.